breaking news.
A breaking news update. Take a look at your screen. This is a still image of body camera video that the Madison County District Attorney says shows the man Madison police killed in a parking lot last month, Dana Fletcher, was pointing a gun at an officer.
The actions of Madison Police Department were entirely justified because of the clear evidence of what happened that day.
I'm Dan Schaefer.
And I'm Naja Sherman. The Madison County Sheriff's Office handed the case to the DA's office for a review a week ago. We have team coverage tonight as we learn more about this investigation. We begin with Way 31's Sydney Martin. Today she pressed the district attorney on why he closed the case. Sydney.
Naja, the Madison County District Attorney's Office said the case is closed, but here at the Madison Police Department and Madison City Hall, the mayor's office and police won't talk about what happened. The district attorney tells that Rob Broussard explained to me how he reached his decision. Now, the district attorney's office showed still images from body camera video and surveillance video. The body camera video captured different angles of the 5 officers responding to the call in the Planet Fitness parking lot. They say those images showed the gun by Fletcher's side, which he had in his left hand and pointed at an officer. Chief Trial Attorney Tim Gann and District Attorney Rob Broussard both talked with us today. There were 2 members of the 5-person team who reviewed the investigation by the Madison County Sheriff's Office. Take a listen to why Broussard said they won't be presenting this case to a grand jury for review.
It's unethical if a prosecutor presents evidence on a case that they don't think they can prevail in trial, much less when you look at the evidence here. I don't think a reasonable mind could ever find probable cause that that officer was not justified in what he did.
The district attorney's office said Madison Police's response from when the first officer arrived at the Planet Fitness parking lot and started the interaction with Dana Fletcher to when Fletcher was shot and killed was 9 minutes long. Amateur video that circulated on the internet only showed less than a minute of the interaction and didn't show what was happening on the passenger side of the car where Fletcher was interacting with officers. Now again, the city of Madison and the Madison Police Department refused to go on camera and talk about this incident and answer our questions. They say that's because the family's attorney has stated they plan to sue the city of Madison over this incident. Live in Madison, Sydney Martin, Way 31 News.
Shortly after the news conference, the city of Madison released a statement. A spokeswoman says the city's next step is to conduct an incident review. The officers involved are still on administrative leave. The police chief put out a statement saying, "Our officers are constantly and consistently receiving training in all areas of 21st century policing, including de-escalation techniques, officer safety, non-lethal options, and response to resistance. All training in the protection of our communities is based on the requirements of the United States Constitution." The mayor also released a statement for the first time saying the city will continue to focus on community policing and what is most important for every city, the safety and quality of life of all citizens. The city spokeswoman said the city won't comment any further or release any video because Dana Fletcher's family plans to file a lawsuit.
Well, we know the entire encounter lasted about 9 minutes, as you heard from Sydney, from the time officers arrived to the time Fletcher was killed.
The district attorney released timestamps and stills, but didn't play any video. Here is a timeline of how it all unfolded. According to the Madison County Sheriff's Office, investigators say a Madison police officer responded to the call and started talking to Fletcher at a van. It all happened at the Planet Fitness parking lot. When he tried to close the door to the van, the officer called for backup.
Now, the sheriff's office said Fletcher told the officer to shoot him and said, "It's over for you." Shortly after, the second officer got to the scene. They were told to go to the driver's side window.
That officer asked Fletcher's wife to get out of the vehicle 14 times. During that time, 2 more officers and a police dog arrived. Officers ordered Fletcher to get out, but he refused. The other officer broke the driver's side window to get Fletcher's wife and daughter out.
At that point, Fletcher was still in the van and was warned a police dog would bite him if he didn't get out. While an officer moved toward Fletcher with a taser, he reached for a gun. The taser was fired but didn't have any effect.
And they said that's when Fletcher got out of the vehicle with a gun and fell on top of an officer. That's when the officer fired 4 shots.
An officer took the gun out of his left hand while the 5th officer involved helped with first aid. Madison Fire and Rescue arrived 5 minutes later. Police then called the sheriff's office to handle the investigation. Despite the evidence shown in the news conference, not everyone in the community is convinced lethal force was the only answer.
WAAY 31's Stephen Dulcizian went back to the scene and spoke with leaders at the Huntsville-Madison NAACP. He joins us with their reaction. Stephen.
Yeah, guys, this is where it all started, in the Planet Fitness parking lot here in Madison. And right where I'm standing, this is actually the exact parking spot where Fletcher's van was and where Madison police ultimately shot and killed Dana Fletcher. Now, right now, I want to go behind the camera. I want to show you a little bit of what the scene looks like now as community members have left flowers, a sign, and a candle here to remember Dana Fletcher. Sitting right here next to the exact parking spot, you can see, even when you get closer to the sign, you can see that it says raise the stakes. Now, that's the hashtag his wife has been using since the shooting. As you can see right there, those are the flowers, and that's a little bit of a memorial that has been placed right now. Now, the local NAACP president still has questions, though, after seeing pictures released from the district attorney's office.
Even though it may have been justified, but was it necessary? You know, sometimes it's not necessary to just use deadly force. Maybe they could have negotiated, kind of stepped back and not pursued him in the manner that they did.
That was Stephen Dulcizian reporting. The NAACP president is also emphasizing to people the need to vote. He says your elected officials are making the decisions. The next town hall is canceled, and we'll have more on that coming up in a little bit. Well, after that news conference, activists had their own statements to make, questioning why the case won't be submitted to a grand jury. When WAAY 31 asked the district attorney why not, he said it would be unethical to refer something he didn't feel was worthy of conviction. Activist Frank Matthews disagreed and called for the city of Madison to release the evidence in its entirety so the public can draw its own conclusions.
Now that the sheriff said and the district attorney said the property is Madison City, we want to have it so we can convene our own community grand jury to review the video in its entirety.
Matthews also made a bold statement claiming he would put up a billboard at the Madison City line that says, "Welcome to Madison, where police kill black people."
Fletcher's family released information on how you can attend his memorial service. You will need a ticket to get in, and you can get one online or at the VBC box office. The service is next Tuesday beginning at 3 p.m. It's happening at the Mark C. Smith Concert Hall in the Von Braun Center. WAAY 31 is